This year, the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Oceania Regional Office hosted the inaugural Oceania Environmental Law Conference in conjunction with the Second World Environmental Law Congress. Environmental legal experts, judges, practitioners, scholars, conservationists, government and civil society representatives shared rich insights on the continued challenges that Pacific Island countries face in protecting natural resources and biodiversity through law and policy. One thing was certain: Oceania's small island states are facing urgent and existential environmental challenges as a result of severe exposure to the impacts of the global environmental crisis affecting our oceans and the climate. And so the legal world must respond.
Advancing environmental law in Oceania towards 2030 and beyond is critical to addressing, adapting to, and mitigating the impacts of these challenges. The conference highlighted key areas for advancing environmental law that align with and complements the objectives of our conference outcome statement. This is the first conference for environmental law at regional level and in the Pacific, and we thank our partners and collaborators for their support for making this conference a reality. We at IUCN are excited that through partnerships and resource and knowledge sharing, positive developments are taking place. We will continue to provide environmental legal assistance and work to support Pacific Island countries across Oceania as they endeavor to reach just solutions that are both culturally responsive and efficiently enforced.
At the 2020 IUCN World Conservation Congress in Marseille, the Oceania Regional Office hosted a roundtable dialogue on the future of environmental law in Oceania. This event brought together an esteemed panel of speakers to discuss the outcomes of the inaugural Oceania Environmental Law Conference and the important role of law and collaboration in nature conservation in Oceania. One key highlight of this event was the proposal made by Professor Denise Antolini to form the Oceania Environmental Law Global Partnership, or OELGP, between organizations that have a common goal for the advancement of the environmental rule of law in Oceania, which is supported by IUCN, the World Commission on Environmental Law, UNEP, and the Global Judicial Institute on the Environment.
The effective implementation of the environmental rule of law requires specialized lawyers with expertise in international, regional, national, and local environmental laws and policies. The threats of global climate and biodiversity are especially urgent for island communities in Oceania. The time is now to accelerate and amplify our efforts to create a broad network of well-trained, effective, and committed environmental lawyers working collectively across Oceania. The Environmental Law Program at the University of Hawaii William S. Richardson School of Law is proud to be a founding partner of this new Oceania Environmental Law Global Partnership. We invite you to join us in this vision and to help us create this network with all the other partners in this video. Together, we can foster stronger connections between environmental law programs like ours and professionals across Oceania to promote the environmental rule of law, and most importantly, to make a difference in the future of the Oceania region.
Strengthening the environmental rule of law, it's an overarching goal for good environmental governance. The role of lawyers and of judges is critical to developing and upholding the environmental rule of law. Through partnership with the Oceania Regional Office, the IUCN World Commission on Environmental Law looks forward to serving as the convening place for people and communities to learn from each other's experiences and to drive change, and to push for legal innovation in the different regions depending on what the local needs are. We are confident that opportunities for collaboration, like the Oceania Environmental Law Program Partnership, will be conducive to such efforts.
The Montevideo program guides the identification and implementation of priority actions in environmental law to be undertaken by the United Nations Environment Programme in partnership with key stakeholders. The need for collaboration between environmental legal stakeholders and legal education and knowledge platforms, such as with environmental law associations and judicial institutions, is crucial if we want to enhance Oceania communities' awareness of environmental laws and their rights, including access to information, access to justice and remedy, and public participation. We look forward to fostering this increase in environmental law capacity through various collaborative platforms like the Oceania Environmental Law Global Partnership.
On behalf of the Global Judicial Institute on the Environment, I would like to congratulate the Oceania office of IUCN for putting together this Oceania Environmental Law Global Partnership. And as it is a partnership, it involves many organizations. This idea originated at the University of Hawaii School of Law with my colleague, Professor Denise Antolini, and immediately received very strong support from the IUCN Office for Oceania, and especially my colleague, Maria Moavesi. It involves the United Nations Environment Programme, the Asian Development Bank, and of course, the Global Judicial Institute on the Environment is very pleased to join forces with those institutions and respected colleagues. Oceania is the most important region of the world from an environmental law perspective. First, because of its very rich biodiversity. Second, because it is an area in which law has been developed very fast, and I would say in the right direction to protect the environment. This includes biodiversity and more recently, climate change. So it's almost natural that judges join forces because we need to learn from scientists, from law professors, from those that are working in real life with those major global environmental issues. Therefore, on behalf of my colleagues from the Global Judicial Institute on Environment, I am delighted to work together with this new initiative.
As someone who prefers working with people and communities to achieve just results through collaboration and creativity, I'm immensely grateful for the opportunity to work with IUCN Oro as an environmental law student based in Hawaii, and remain hopeful that partnerships such as the Oceania Environmental Law Global Partnership will open the door for other students in the Pacific who, like me, are passionate about environmental justice and in securing sustainable and peaceful futures for all.
As a recent law graduate from the University of the South Pacific and a young lawyer, I commend IUCN for the opportunity to build and grow professionally under the Environmental Law Program. The program has an extended reach to a wide variety of networks, work opportunities and fellowships that are very current and suitable to address environmental challenges and threats within our region, while at the same time build the capacity of young aspiring graduates.
It is clear today that environmental challenges respect no borders. This means we must not only increase coordination amongst nations, but also in institutional structures that foster motivation and mobilization at all levels. Increase dialogue and partnerships across governments and non-state actors, civil society organizations, and indeed the private sector, and throughout communities at the grassroots level, is an essential and effective tool for advancing environmental law and for developing nature-based solutions to the climate crisis facing Oceania, which are inclusive, just, and culturally responsive. In addition, national, regional, and global frameworks are also needed to empower and protect the right of participation, especially by those who are vulnerable to climate change. And all partnerships must be founded on the principle of intergenerational equity.
Only together can we move forward. IUCN Oceania looks forward to working with its neighbors and partners to raise the standard of environmental law in the region and to ensure a just and sustainable future for all.